Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pageant Sit Down. My name is Regina Lena, and I'm your host, and I am so excited to have you on. Oh my goodness, we went live, and already messages are coming through. Thank you all for watching. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions for our guest, make sure to put them in the live stream or the live chat because I will be asking her. And speaking of our guest, I am really excited because I'm sure you're wondering, why are you on earlier? Well, it's because our guest is actually from a very different time zone, and we wanted to accommodate her. So please welcome to the Pageant Sit Down, Amber Joosen. Hi, Amber.
Hi.
Welcome. So Amber, for those who don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Amber Joosen. I'm 18 years old. I'm from the Netherlands. I live in a very southern part called Zeeland. Not New Zealand, New Zealand. I think we actually found New Zealand and now it's called New Zealand. And I've competed in pageants since 2019. Didn't compete in 2020 because of COVID. And now I'm finally competing again for the Miss Globe Netherlands.
Amazing. So you've been doing pageants for a while, and then of course the pandemic happened, but you seem to have a huge following here in Canada. What got you involved in Canadian pageantry, and how did Canada come to play?
That's a really weird story because I've competed in Teen Universe Netherlands in 2019, and while we had that casting, I got my sash. And I was so happy with my sash. It was like bright pink. I was like,
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I have a sash now. And I live a long way from where the casting was. So we were going to a road restaurant. And I was so happy with my sash. I didn't want to take it off. So I was strutting my way through the restaurant with my sash. Everyone was like, And then someone was looking at me. I was like, why are you looking at me? And it was actually Miss Earth Canada 2018, I think. I'm not sure. Jamie. I think Jamie was Miss Earth Canada 2018. And she walked up to me and said, hey, I'm from Canada. I'm also a pageant gal. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? Is this my life? And through Jamie, I got in contact with Maria, the pageant gal. And I've been involved in this little world ever since.
That's amazing. No, because I was looking through your Instagram and I realized we have a lot of mutual followers and they're all Canadian. So I was very curious, how did a girl from the Netherlands make her way to Canada? But that's amazing. It's such a small world when you think about it, because someone from Canada was there and you met her and it just brought you to this whole circle, and it's awesome. And now you're here on the Pageant Sit Down. So
yeah.
That's awesome. Another question actually from Instagram, because that was one of the questions, and I'm going to keep going with our Instagram questions. We're talking about the Netherlands. So what is the best part of your local cuisine?
Ooh, I live in Zealand, and we're enclosed. We're little tiny islands in the North Sea, and we have mussels, and I like them. But I don't want to look at them. They're really nice. They made with onions, scallops and stuff. And you don't need to look at them, because if you look at them, they're really weird. But you just need to plop them in your mouth with fries. They're so amazing.
I love seafood, and mussels are one of my favorites. But I get what you mean. Sometimes if you look at it for too long, you're like, I'm curious. Yeah. That's awesome. Have you ever?
I just heard that the oldest mussel is 400 years old, and was 400? What?
400? Nobody wants to eat that.
No.
It probably has superpowers or something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Have you ever been to Canada, or do you just know a lot of Canadians?
No, well, actually, I just heard from my grandma that I have family in Canada that I didn't know about, but I've never been there. So
wow.
I do plan on going to Canada when it's allowed with lockdown and stuff.
Well, that will be really exciting, especially because now
Yeah.
you'll have so many people to see and places to visit, and you could basically couch surf when you get here.
I think the internet went out for a bit because
Oh,
we're
sorry.
from.
No. I know there's a lot of internet disconnection, especially here in Canada. One of the biggest providers is down for the day. I'm not sure why. But I did say when you come to Canada, you'll be able to couch surf because you'll have so many friends to stay with.
Yeah, yeah, I'll hop on Instagram.
Exactly.
Hi, girl, I'm coming.
Exactly. Just put it out on your Instagram page and everyone will welcome you in. So I do want to know because we talked a little bit about the Netherlands, a little bit about Canada. What is the biggest difference you think you've seen with Canadian pageantry versus the pageantry in the Netherlands?
So one thing, I'm not sure if it's for every system in Canada, but for in the Netherlands, we don't have pageant week. We have a final day, and weeks prior to that, we just have like runway, we have makeup classes and stuff. We don't have 1 week with preliminaries. We don't have that. We just have 1 day, one final, one show. And we don't have coaches here, almost none. And if we are coached by someone, it's always someone from outside the Netherlands, which is really weird. I
Yeah.
think we need to have some coaches here.
Maybe you'll pioneer it and the things that you learn from your experience and your coaches, then you can bring that to the girls there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see any other big difference, or would you just say those are? Because I know also here in Canada there are some pageants where it's just 1 day, but you're right, we do have the preliminary pageant and then the final night. So that's interesting that you say that.
Yeah, I think we have one pageant who does that, which is Miss Beauty, which is for Miss Earth. But that's only the national final, not the state finals. So I've only competed at state, so I don't know how national works.
You will
but
get there soon, don't worry.
yeah. And I think in the Netherlands, girls don't enter the pageant to be a pageant queen. They're just like, oh, I saw it on Instagram. I think it might be nice because I like to make photos on Instagram. Maybe I'll join. It's not really pageantry is not really a thing here. And if you say, oh, I'm a pageant girl, they're like, oh, you walk in bikinis on stage. Well, you must think you're like really pretty or something.
Oh, wow. So that was going to be my next question is how big is the pageant world there in the Netherlands?
Yeah, well, it's getting bigger, but still some work to do.
I can imagine. Well, it's like I said, you can pioneer it and show them like this is the purpose of my show is to show the world that pageant girls aren't just girls who walk around in their bikini. So maybe one day you'll also be that person for all those girls there.
Yeah, I really want to make some change. Although I've competed in only one pageant which has a bikini round, the other one was sportswear. So I like that there's change coming, but we need to change a lot more. We just had our first transgender Miss for Intercontinental. So this year is like really the year of change, but there's lots more work to do.
100%. No, that's amazing that at least you are a country that is accepting of transgenders because there are some pageant systems out there that nope, you can't. And so I think that's great that it's out there and you're here telling us about it and that's awesome. So my question, Miss Globe, Netherlands, what made you want to compete for that specific pageant?
So I followed the Miss Globe for 2 years now. I was contacted by them in 2019, just after I was after I was competing or during I don't really know. But while I was still in the process of being Teen Universe Netherlands, so I was like, I'm sorry I can't enter this year, but I was like, I need to keep an eye out for them because I had never heard of them. So I followed the 2020 pageant and it's like, oh, I like that. They had girls from all over the Netherlands, all different backgrounds, and then the pandemic hit and they went online. But they really like worked with that, you
Mm-hmm.
know. They started with I think they had 2 or 3 things in person, and then they switched to online. And I was like, oh, how are they going to accommodate this? But they did really well, and even their final night was online. So I was like, yeah, I think this was nice. And then I started researching the Miss Globe International, and I loved their pageant. Oh, I was watching it, and I love the stage. I love their standpoint. Like, we're all strong, independent women. We're here. We are like worth it. And I was like, I need to enter as soon as possible. And I think the first day of registration, I was like, I need to get money from my bank account to PayPal, because
Yeah.
it's like in the Netherlands we don't have like credit cards or something, so I always do things via PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I was stressing a lot and I think I was the first one to sign for this
Wow.
year. Yeah.
That's awesome. So they did the pageant virtually last year. Are they doing it virtually again this year or in person?
Yeah, we have assignments. So at the end of this month, we need to send in our talent video. And it was planned to have a in-person catwalk coaching session, but that's in May, and it's not looking like there are some things changing here, because the numbers of COVID cases are rising again. So I think it will just be online for this year. And then we have like catwalk videos, media stuff, and we have makeup live stream. So that's really awesome. They really have a lot for us to do.
That's awesome. So how do you feel about virtual? Because your only pageant experience was in person, right?
Yeah, it's so different. Well, in May last year, I did this preliminary for Miss Supranational and Miss Grand Netherlands, but I just only did the first round and then immediately get caught. But I was only 17 back then, so I was really young. And so I had a little bit of experience with like 2 videos, so not really a big pageant, but it was different because I have never met the other contestants yet, only via FaceTime. And I'm like a really like friend person. I want to make friends and I want to like do things together. And I was like, oh, this is really different. But now we are starting with our assignments and stuff, and I'm now getting the flow of, yeah, I'm actually doing a pageant this year. So it's different, but I also like it because I'm from Zeeland and I always need to travel like 3 hours, and now I don't have that, so I have time to prepare more. So that's also really nice.
Awesome. So what have you been doing then to keep yourself motivated and prepare for the upcoming pageant?
Well, I've been training with Maria, the pageant girl, since March of last year. Then I stopped for like a good half year, always like saw their posts and stuff. And then in January, she started another training system, and I've been training ever since.
Awesome. So how do you do your training sessions then? Is it either really early for yourself or really late because of the time difference?
It's always really late. It's like, I think most of them now, since that we've like had the switch of like the summertime or winter to summer, it's a little less late for me. But it used to be at 1 to 2 a.m. or 2 to 3 a.m. But Maria's changing her time. So I had one session last Friday, and it was actually just at 7 o'clock.
Oh.
And I was like, that's nice.
Awesome. So what time is it there now? Because I know we switched to a little bit earlier, so it's not too late there.
It's not. I have my laptop on so I can look at the time, because I don't have any clocks in my room. I don't know why. It's 11:15.
So, oh, wow.
Yeah. doable. It's doable.
It's doable. No, it's still the day before. No problem.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, for reaching out and wanting to be on the show and being like we had to really work the plan to get you on at a specific time. So I'm glad that we made it happen. In the video that you sent me, you mentioned be a butterfly. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Be a Butterfly is my platform. Be a Butterfly is a self-care movement teaching teens and young adults how to unlock their inner butterfly and come out of their cocoon. I do this through challenges. I've had a 7-day self-care challenge a couple of weeks ago where every day I posted a challenge, which was super easy to incorporate in your daily activities, like drinking a liter of water every day, going on just a 15-minute walk, and even just making your bed in the morning. So it's like super easy things, which can be really helpful for your mental health, but it's not really a difficult thing to do.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So if people wanted to find out more about Be a Butterfly, is it on your Instagram or do you have a website about it?
Yeah, I'm working on a website at the moment, but I have a little highlights on my Instagram, in which I post things. Sometimes I post just a random challenge, or I do 7-week challenges, and I'm even planning on do a 1 month full of challenges.
Awesome. Well, I'll stay tuned to follow. And I think it's great, like you mentioned, mental health. And right now with the pandemic and all the different parts of the world still in lockdown, I think it's great that you're really bringing awareness and shining some light on that. Maria's actually here. So Maria says, "Hi, Amber. So proud of you. What is your favorite part about pageant preparation?"
Hi, Maria. I just saw Maria mentioning me in an Instagram post and was like, oh, she's mentioning me. Well, my favorite thing is getting to learn more about myself, because I'm getting through these layers and layers of I've been bullied when I was younger, and actually today in the Netherlands it's National Day Against Bullying, and I've been through the process of getting to know myself. I've learned that it was not my own fault that I was bullied. It was just not a thing that I could change, but it has definitely helped me to become who I am now through these preparations of pageantry. Before pageantry, I started in 2019, and I was I was just self-conscious, and I would always walk with my head down. And through pageant preparation, I've just learned how special I was, and I've never been the same ever since.
That's awesome. It's great that you have this self-gained confidence. And you mentioned it earlier when you got your first sash and you walked around the restaurant with it on because you're like, hey, look at me. And I think it's great that you were able to gain all this confidence from your coaching and your preparation. You made a very special point there, being bullied, you finally realize that it wasn't your fault. And that's a great message, because there are a lot of people out there who get bullied and think it's their fault. So I think it's such a great message for you to share with everyone watching.
Yeah.
It really is. Actually, we're almost at the halfway point, Amber. So I have a segment on the show, which is 5 tips for any beauty pageant hopeful. So what would you say are your 5 tips for any pageant hopeful watching today?
So I have 5 really small things which can make quite some difference. My first point is to research the pageant system, because we don't have lots of systems in the Netherlands, but you really need to do some research. I have some systems. I love the girls competing in them, but the pageant is the point of the pageant is just not what works for me. So I would never enter that, but if I didn't research it, I would just have such a different experience. So just do your research, and that's like a point I need to tell to my younger Amber. Do your research, Amber. Then my second tip is invest in knowledge. You don't even have to invest with money. Just watch the local news, read the newspaper or some articles. Or, you can invest in knowledge with a coach, which I should highly recommend everyone. Just hire a coach, not even to coach you through the process of learning how to walk or do your makeup or interview, just because there's such a mental coaches too. I love that. This third one, focus on yourself. Don't focus on the other girls when you're in the pageant, because you will always think that they're better than you, or they have better outfits, or their walk is so flawless. You can't see yourself, but you are just as good at them, maybe even better. Just a little side note. But even though you don't need to judge them, you can make friends, because my best friends at the moment I've met through pageantry. So don't see them as your opponents, or oh, I need to be better than them. But also don't think they're so better, they're so good at that. Just make friends. And my final fifth tip is find a platform that's close to you. You might think that the platform has something to be big, with a big charity, or I've done that too. I was like, oh, I need to find this big charity, big platform. But when you don't have any knowledge or anything that's close to your heart, your platform just won't work.
Awesome. And those are 5 amazing tips from you. So Amber, if people wanted to find more information about you or follow your pageant journey, where can they find you?
Well, I have an Instagram page, Amber Margaretha, which is really difficult to spell when you hear it, but I think it's tagged under the posts of the pageant sit down.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And I'm starting on making a TikTok little series of my road to the Miss Globe, and my TikTok name is also Amber Margaretha.
Amazing. I love how you say your name.
Yeah, my second name is, I have 3 names: Amber, Margaretha, Wilhelmina, which is blah blah blah. But Margaretha is from my grandma from my mom's side, and Wilhelmina is from my grandma from my dad's side. So I'm always I just want to say my whole name because I'm just proud of them.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And like you mentioned, everything is in the description below. So after the show, and if you want to follow Amber, make sure you check her out, because she has amazing content. She has amazing purple hair in one of the photos, and you're just very inspiring. I have seen your Instagram and watched what you've been posting, and the things that you put out there are just so positive, and it's definitely something people need nowadays. So I think that is great, and your tips are also amazing. And to think that you just started in pageantry a few years ago, it's amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So again, to all those who are watching, if you have any questions for Amber, make sure you put them in the description. So Amber, what is it like getting ready for a pageant in the pandemic?
It's quite difficult, I have to say. I don't have lots of experience with the pageant world at all. This is only my 3rd full-on pageant that I'm competing in, and I want to make appearances, but everything's closed, nothing is happening. So I was really excited to join you today. So I would make a virtual appearance, and I'm still working on that and fundraising. I used to fundraise for my other pageants by going to local flea markets and selling stuff, and now I just sit here at home selling scrunchies. I make lots of beautiful scrunchies. I have my own website to fundraise for PC for All, and it has just been a really helpful thing, although it was quite difficult to get ready for the pageant. The pageant started in December, and we only had our first assignment at the end of April. So in the time in between, I was like, do I already make appearances? What do I do? But now that everything is rolling, and I am a really person who gets very distracted when the weather is bad and it was snowing and stuff. So I'm like, I need to stay in bed, and now the sun's shining, and I'm like, get ready, go outside and just do stuff. So now I'm like, yes, I'm ready, I'm going for it. Oh yeah.
That's amazing. You're so awesome. I love your energy. It's great. So you mentioned those scrunchies and a website. So where can people buy them if they wanted to support you?
My website is all things. Whoa, that's all things. Wait, do I say my old YouTube name now? I wanted to say my old YouTube name, which was All Things Girly. That's not my it was inspired by my YouTube channel, but
Okay.
it's All Girls Want Boutique.nl.
Awesome. I mean, you did your YouTube intro on your YouTube channel, so that's fine. It works out.
Yeah,
No, but that's awesome. So you hand make all of those scrunchies yourself?
yeah. I have lovely helping hands from my mom and my grandma. My mom's actually seamstress, so she
Oh,
sews for her like job. She makes curtains and stuff. So she's really lovely and really helpful. And my grandma used also sew for her job, and she used to make clothes for me when I was tiny, and for my mom and for my uncle. So they're really helpful, and I just, without them, I couldn't keep this running because the shops were closed, so I couldn't buy more fabric. And my mom works at a sewing company, and sometimes they just throw out fabric, and I'm like, that's just a waste. Why do you throw out perfectly good fabrics? And my mom's like, hey boss, can I just take some home with me for my daughter? I'm like, yeah. So now I have like these beautiful like fabrics, like pinks and stuff, which I was like, do people buy curtains in stripy pink velour?
I mean, I would.
I would totally too. So
I
without
would.
her, I wouldn't have my business right now.
That's amazing. And so you mentioned that your mom and your grandma are both seamstresses. So you mentioned that the shops are closed. So for your fashion choices for the pageant, did your mom and grandma help you with that?
Well, I've bought some things online, but I'm just a bad online shopper and everything's always too big or too small. I don't know why that always happens, but they like remake it so it fits me perfectly, or they're like, oh baby, you can just add this like sparkly thing. So yeah, they really helped me with my wardrobe, and they helped me with turning like the most not expensive things to look like it was $1 million baby.
I love that. That's great. And I love that you have the support from your family because, you know, you're new to pageantry, but they also support you. What actually got you into pageantry to begin with?
Well, I was in school and I was really insecure. I had offset ears, which I don't have anymore because I missed cartilage, and I had an operation to place metal in my ear, which is like sounds really weird, but through that I just gained so much more confidence. And then a girl I went to school with was Miss Teen of Zeeland, of my province, and I was like, ooh, that's cool. I always used to follow Miss Nederland or Miss Universe, so I was like, maybe I can do this. I had never had heels because my mom was always like, you don't get heels before you're old enough. And then I was like, hey mom, I bought like these enormous heels. She's like, okay. And so I entered, and I still was like really like, oh, am I good for this? Is this the right time? But I always loved theater and dance, so I was like confident on stage, but in a really different way. And my mom was like, oh, well, maybe try it. And I was like, okay. So then we had like an audition, so kind of thing, and we went there, and I think there were like 30 other girls because my town is really small, and I was picked, and I was like, oh, maybe I can do this. And then I got like the pageant flu, and I'm like, I want
Here
to
you
be
are.
every moment of my life.
That's amazing. And it's funny because you also mentioned that your mom wouldn't want you to wear heels, but you did it anyway, and now here she is supporting you with everything. So that's great.
Yeah. Well, she saw my me growing from this like insecure girl to like this young woman I am today.
That's awesome. And you also mentioned earlier off the show that you have sisters. So would your sisters consider competing in pageants?
Well, my youngest sister is 9, so I'm not sure. Well, no, I know that she wants to compete because we have the same shoe size. Although she's like almost 10 years
Oh,
younger than me. And she was here and she saw my heels and she was like, Amber, can I try these on? And I was like, okay, I will hold you because you will fall. She was like, oh, I want a sash too. And then we are going to strut around the runway because I was watching a Victoria's Secret show and she was like, we're going to hold hands and like do this. And I was like, okay, girl, I'm your support.
that's awesome. How did she do with your heels?
Well, she didn't take a single step, but she said, Amber, I'm going to pretend like I'm falling and you need to make like a video for our father. And she was like, and I'm doing like this, oh, I'm going to fall. And she was so like theatrical. I loved it.
That's awesome. What about your other sister?
Well, my other sister is actually disabled. She can't speak. She has we don't know what she has, but she's 14. Is she 14 or 15? There is like 5 years in between all of us, but I always forget that I'm like, well, I'm 18 now, my sister is 9, so I will turn 19 this year, so she will turn 16 this year, so she's 15. Really weird my process.
No worries.
So she can't walk in heels or stuff and she can speak, but she loves to dance, so we always have little dance parties. And
That's awesome.
Although she can't speak, I can communicate a little bit with her through sign language, and she will understand every single thing you say. So she's not dumb. She's definitely not. We always make like little jokes saying that when she's in school, she's like speaking about the stock market and stuff because she's so smart. When we make little like we say things about little children, she's like, I'm gonna get like the stroller or something. So she understands the pageant thing, but I don't think she will ever, unfortunately, be able to compete. But I will make her.
You never know. She might, or she might do her own thing with dance, right? It's great that she's still able to dance, and that's awesome that you're able to speak sign language. That's awesome.
I've actually studied sign language. I stopped my study because of COVID. I dropped out, but I did study to become a sign language teacher. So that was also with my sister, and I was like, I've learned sign language like 10 years ago for her, and now I want to learn anybody else sign language, Dutch sign language, because sign language is different in every single country. So that was difficult to drop out because I love sign language, but due to COVID, I got into a really bad place with my mental health, and I just had to think about myself and drop out, unfortunately.
But it's always there. You can always go back. I didn't know that there was a difference in sign languages.
Yeah, and there's actually, even in the Netherlands, we have different kinds of sign language. Like in America, you have accents. Well, in the Netherlands, we have that too. Of course, everywhere you have accents. And even in sign language, you can have a sign language accent.
Oh, wow. Are the letters the same, or is it all different?
Well, they are the same, but the sign language difference between America and the Netherlands isn't that big. But British Sign Language and Dutch Sign Language, the alphabet alone is like really difficult. So you can communicate with people from other countries, kind of, but there are still differences.
That's awesome. So are you learning like an international realm of sign language, or are you doing specifically?
At the moment, I'm doing specifically Dutch Sign Language, but I'm in a course at the moment, like the 52-week course, so till next year. Because when I stopped, I still wanted to continue the sign language thing.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe after then, I want to start learning American Sign Language.
That's awesome. That's such a great skill to have too. So I think that's great, and it's amazing that your sister inspired you to do it as well.
Yeah, she's
awesome. That's amazing. And so, oh my goodness, we still have a lot of time to go. I feel like we've been talking for so long.
Yeah.
Well, again, to all those who are watching, if you have any questions for Amber, whether it be about pageantry or the Netherlands or sign language, leave a comment in the live chats and I'm sure I will ask them and she'll answer. So Amber, how is it going right now with COVID? I know we talked a little bit about it before the show. I know here in Canada, especially in Ontario, we just went into a full provincial lockdown. What has it been like there for you guys?
Well, they always say like next week we will like open the pubs, or next week we'll like open the movie theaters, and then when it's the next week they just don't open it and they'll say next week. So we don't really know at what point we're standing right now. The cases of COVID are still going up, but they also started like you can now test yourself for COVID at home. So there are lots of people testing. So the percentage isn't like, we don't know what the test to positive test percentage is. But the museums are closed. Lots of things are closed. Pubs, like the movie theaters. We just started to open up our shops, which non-necessary shops, like we have a thing called what's it called in English? I don't know, but like clothing stores. You can think about that. We are now at it's called Action, which is, I think it's a bit like Target or something, but really tiny, with things are just like really cheap. And they started to, you can now make appointments and you have like 10 or 20 minutes to shop, and then you need to, so you can go but you need to make an appointment, and you have like, well, some stores have like an hour of time, which is like, okay, like I can have that, but like 10 minutes in a clothing store, like I can even dress down in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I need my time to put clothes.
Exactly.
So we're slowly but surely getting there to open up. We have some field lab tests, which is like tests with attraction parks. We have the Efteling, which is like really big. I think they are allowed to have 6,000 people now, but you need to have a negative COVID test and everything, and then they will test 3 days after you went to the Efteling, and then they'll see if they are opening up again, if they can have the like rules are handled. And so we are getting there, and I think that in June we are quite back up.
That's awesome.
But we said that last year too, when we went into like a third, fourth like lockdown.
That's true. I feel like we're in the same boat as well. But that's cool that you can do tests at home, because we can't do that here.
Yeah. I think I'm not sure if they're sold at grocery stores right now, but I think they are even sold at grocery stores.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. Like I said, we don't have that here. We have to actually book an appointment, go to the place, but it's crazy because if you think about it, you might have COVID and then you have to leave your house and then expose other people to it. I think testing at home is actually really, really smart.
Yeah, and I although if you test positive at home, you also need to make an appointment because they want to register it, and an at-home test can't be registered through the Pageant, which is like I don't know what's it called in Canada, but so it's also really like, but if you are going to test at home, you also need to go there, just so why not already go there?
Yeah, that's true.
But I think you can have a test at home, just buy it and maybe not use it for a couple of weeks, and then when you think you have some symptoms, just like as a precaution, test.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How are vaccines going in the Netherlands?
It's rough. Well, we had a lot of Janssen and Janssen. We ordered, I think, 11 million. And then when there were like blood clots and stuff, they stopped with Janssen and Janssen. I think we have Pfizer now, but not enough. So only the elderly are tested, and there are a lot of anti-vaccination people around here. Like, lots of them, and they're rallying and protesting. So they said that at the beginning of June everyone 18 or older would be vaccinated, but with the vaccination rate at the moment, that's definitely not possible. So it's a bit like I just want to get my vaccination.
Yeah, I know. I totally understand what you mean. I guess it's just a common thing between Netherlands and Canada is how we're dealing with this pandemic.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll start to clear up. Hopefully the vaccines will start to roll out, and that way you and your family are safe, especially with your sister. I know that
Yeah.
can be scary, so hopefully things will start to look up for you guys. And I know you're a very positive person, so I'm sure it will
Yeah.
happen.
Well, luckily, because I have a special needs sister, my dad already got his vaccination.
Perfect.
So that's really helpful. But that was like on a Friday, and then on Saturday he got AstraZeneca. And then on Saturday they stopped vaccinating with that because of blood clots
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's like, oh no. But nothing happened to him, so luckily.
That's good.
Yeah,
There's just so many different things that you see on the news all over the place, and I think I remember seeing on Canadian news talking about how AstraZeneca is not in a lot of different countries, but we have it in Canada, so it should be fine, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So hopefully things, like I said, will start to clear up in the Netherlands for you guys, and with the pageant coming up, it does give you something to look forward to, so that's also really exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Me too.
Ow! I totally like took the hair out of my head. Ouch.
It's okay. It happens. We're live. It happens on a live show. Things happen. There's bloopers. Here you go, guys. It's amazing. So what have you been doing to keep yourself busy during this time besides pageant prep and making scrunchies?
Well, as I've said, I've dropped out of my college, so I didn't have school, and I at the beginning of December with lockdown, I was like in a really bad mental place, so I was only laying in my bed. But now things are getting better, and I have a job as a TikTok content creator for a nonprofit organization. So that's really cool. So I need to make TikTok videos once every week. I have my own TikTok, which I make. I used to make sign language content, but I'm shifting a bit more to pageant content. So I have my online business with scrunchies, which I had before I started the Miss Globe, but I also make TikTok content for that, and I have lots of lovely girls watching. Every Monday through Tuesday I'm going live, and that's been really nice. So I had a live stream today, and then tomorrow, and then I'll make some videos and pack orders. So I've been really busy with that, and I'm still doing a sign language course. So every Monday I'll get like new classes. So I'll be watching that tomorrow because I had quite a busy day today. And I'm auditioning for theater school.
Oh, yay.
So I'm working on assignments for that. I had a really busy weekend with like in-person auditions, and I'm so sore at the moment because I haven't done any exercise since lockdown. So I was like, I needed to get out of my bed because I was chilling in my bed before this live stream, and I was like, ow, I can't get up. So I've been busy with all kinds of stuff.
You are busy, and that's great. And I commend you for being honest and saying, you know what, I was dealing with mental health, but here I am now. You're thriving, you're surviving, and I think that's amazing. You're very inspiring, and I do, like I said, appreciate that you are very honest, because some people need someone like you to say it so that they also realize that they're not alone. And you are doing a lot. You're content creating, you're scrunchie creating. It's okay. First of all, how do you use TikTok? Because I downloaded it recently, and I don't know how to use it. I know how to watch videos, I know how to search videos. I just don't know how to make videos.
Well, it's been quite different. Well, it's been alright, because I was doing TikTok, and before that it was Musically for like years, just making like cheeky videos of me running around in a flamingo onesie.
Wow.
I don't know why I did that, but it's somewhere out on the internet. And then at the beginning of September this year, I made a little sign language video, and it blew up. I think it has 500,000 views right now, and that was a really weird time, because I wasn't planning on making only sign language content. So then I felt this constant need to make sign language content, and that also wasn't a part of me not like feeling well, because I was the sign language girl and I wasn't myself. I wasn't known for myself, and I sometimes get recognized, which is really weird, because I live in a small town and I was working, and someone was like, "Hey, are you the sign language girl?" And I was like, "Oh, yes, that's me." But then I'm like, "But I'm not sign language. I used to make like
I'm the pink flamingo
TikToks.
girl.
Yeah, and I did pageant content, and then I just switched like within one day to only sign language content. And now I'm at this point where I don't know what to make, because when I make non-sign language videos, people are like, "We don't like this, we want sign language." But I'm like, why should I listen to them?
Exactly, yeah.
I just need to post what I like. But then there's the constant like pressure of, I think I have like 37,000 followers, and they're like, "Nope, I don't want to see this." You can't dislike TikToks, but they will send negative comments. So I had this time where I just didn't post. And the algorithm, I don't know how it works. Sometimes a video blows up of me talking about something you can do during the curfew, because we have a curfew here in the Netherlands. And that blows up, and when I start talking about mental health, nobody watches it. And I'm like, "Hey, TikTok, maybe you can just switch things around." But yeah, it's a difficult thing. TikTok is really difficult. With the non-profit organization that I make TikToks for, we started 3 months ago, and we were like, "Oh, we want to like make content for teens to young adults about how they can have impact on themselves and on the world." It's called Young Impact. And one video blows up, and the other one has like 100 views, and we're like, what are we doing wrong? Because we want people to see that the videos that don't blow up, and sometimes the videos that blow up, are just cheeky videos of us making videos about the curfew.
Maybe that's what you should do. I think, in a world where social media seems to be taking over, you're right. It can get mentally draining, and you want to be yourself, but you also want the views. But I think you should just be yourself. Be you, and if they don't want to watch the video, they don't watch the video. If they watch the video and they love it, they love it. Be a pink flamingo girl sign languaging or something. I don't know. But just don't lose yourself in the world of social media, because you are such a beautiful soul, and I've only been talking to you for almost an hour, and you have a lot to share with the world. So don't worry if they don't like your video. I'll like your video. I'll subscribe or follow or whatever it is on TikTok for you. Well, actually, again, we have a few minutes left of this show. So if you want Amber, one more time to or tell people where they can find you, whether it be on your TikTok or your Instagram or YouTube.
Great. I at the beginning of lockdown, I did really lots of YouTube stuff, but I need to do this again. So it's really easy. You can find me on Instagram with the name Amber Margaretha _ because someone already had my name. And on TikTok, you can find me on Amber Margaretha without the _. And on YouTube, you can also find me as Amber Margaretha. So it's not very difficult, only the _ thing. But I actually have a niece who's also called Amber Joosen. So Amber Joosen was already taken on Instagram.
She beat you to it.
Then I was like, well, I'll just do my first and second name, Amber Margaretha. But that was also already on Instagram, so then I'll just add an _
Perfect. You gotta love the characters. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Well, Amber, thank you so much for joining me. I know you had a very busy day, but I do appreciate you reaching out and wanting to be on the show. You have such an amazing story to share, an amazing personality to share, and I do wish you all the best of luck when it comes to Globe, Netherlands. Do you have any last things you'd like to say to our viewers?
Well, at first, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed my evening on here. And for everybody watching, thank you so much for listening to my story. It was really awesome to tell something about myself to lots of other pageant girls, because I love my pageant gals. In the Netherlands, I don't have a lot of pageant related things, so it was really nice to get to meet you all and have a really nice day.
Amazing. Well, again, thank you for joining us. You have your pageant sisters here in Canada and all over the world now, so thank you again for joining us. It's been a pleasure getting to meet you, and I do hope that when you do come to Canada that you can couch surf at my home. You're more than welcome to. And on that note, make sure you do stay safe. Like you said, cases are going up in the Netherlands, so stay safe to you and your family and your friends. And to all those who are watching, also stay safe as well. All you can do right now is stay at home, wash your hands, and stay healthy mentally and physically. If you enjoyed today's episode, again, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you do like this content, make sure you subscribe to my channel. We go live with the Pageant Sit Down every Monday and Wednesday, typically around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just today is a little special for Amber. And thank you also for tuning in, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. Bye!